All right, good morning, peeps. Welcome to the Coffee Room with John. I am looking pretty pink today. I'm not sure if it's the shirt bouncing off my screen or what, but that's kind of cool. Hey, I showed you in the camera. I'm double fisting it today. I made myself coffee in my coffee and craps mug, and my wife showed up. She went to the store and brought back actual coffee. So I'm going to be hopped up here in a minute. This is going to be great. Hope you all are doing well. I want to go over a couple of things real quick before we get into the meat of the show. And the main thing is going to be this. I want to remind you this Sunday I've got another episode of Around the Table with John, Trip Around the Table with John. It'll be on this Sunday. It'll be a surprise guest. I'll tell you who that is in a little bit. Maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll wait till Sunday. We'll see. That show, though, if you don't know, it's basically me going. I shoot from every spot: the end, the hook, the stick right, stick left, the hook, the end. Every shooter that I do. I throw till I 7 out. We talk about one topic with our guest during that roll, however long it takes, and we get good 6 questions in, and it's a good way to meet people. We don't talk about craps at all. We talk about life and construction work, and with skill and luck, we talked about truck driving, and with Kevin, we talked about dealing poker at the old Imperial Palace. So we have good conversations. It'll be a fun show. I do play crapless craps during that show on Crapsy. So if you're a Crapsy nerd, jump on that show and play some crapless with me. Even though I hate crapless, I deal it during that game, which is kind of fun. We'll talk here about the daily paycheck in just a minute. As you'll probably notice from the last couple of days, I've changed the rhythm of the show a little bit, where I'm now kind of warming myself up before I bet, really. Then I bet, then I kind of cool down with a little bit of excess play every day. Hopefully it's excess play. And then I'll go for what's now going to be one more shooter. After I'm done playing, I'll call it when I'm either I've lost my money or I've won my money. I'll say I'm done, but you all get one more shooter, and that's how we're going to go. I'm not going to put a time limit on it. I'm just going to go until I'm done playing, and we'll call one more shooter, and that's how much you get to do. If you're going to play along with that, you've got a pretty good little runway in there. I think I've given you, if I'm not mistaken, you've got $10,000 in the bankroll, something like that. Why is my screen not changing? Hello. Let's see here. What is happening? My screen is not changing. Oh, there we go. Boy, that took a little bit to get there. Yeah, I'm giving you $10,000 in the bankroll, and you can play along and build your bankroll with me. So far for April, we're doing all right. We got 2 wins in our belt. We're at $1,700 in profit for this month so far. The Dallas Drawdown is still the strategy of choice. It's up 80% now, so it's hit the number. 80% is the magic number for these things, and so far we've done it. We're up about 17 grand so far. And again, we're still working strategy testing. I was talking to JB in chat, and he thinks I'm done with the science. I'm not done with the science. We did 7 months of data gathering, right? We gathered all the data. We did all these strategies, did all these throws, and said, look, we love the Red Cross. We love the drawdown. We love a little bit the 3-point Molly. Actually worked good. Didn't love playing it, but it worked good. And we loved one of the 6, 7, 8 strategies. We didn't like a lot of other ones, and we're going to cast them aside. And now we're going to say, did the data that we gather matter? So I'm going to be playing daily paycheck with things that we know work at about an 80% rate. And now every day when I go out there, I'm just going to pick one and say, let's just let that thing kind of tick away and see if we can't make it work. So that's my goal. Still test strategies, just not so much every single day in a row the same one. I can bounce around if I feel like it. It's a practice of discipline, and we're really working that compounding wins. So today I won $800 out of 4,000. Tomorrow it's going to be $4,500, looking to win 900. We're going to a little bigger buy-in, a little bigger bets, a little bigger win goal every day. That's the idea. How does that work over time? That's part of the science experiment now. We're going to do, again, a progressive buy-in and a win goal, a little more field-based than before maybe. But I'm doing Crapsy now on that show. So if you want to play Crapsy with me, do it. You got $10,000, unlimited rebuys. You only get to play while I'm playing though. I'm going to go fast, right? I'm not going to slow down my show so you can make your bets. I'm going to throw, press the button. You got 10 seconds to keep up with me, and that's going to be it. So I'm going to run quick. You're going to get my shooters plus 1 extra every day. And that's going to be the new daily paycheck. So join me on Casino Gaming TV every day at 7 a.m. Pacific. You want to do that. But really what I want to talk about today, I want to take a dive into a different territory. we haven't really talked much about this other than to hype it up a little bit, and that is the International Shooters Tournament that's been going on. So we've been going through this thing where we've taken, I think it was like 67 people signed up to do this. Last year we had 40. This year we had 67 people, I think, to qualify as the best, quote unquote, best shooters out there. We give them 3 cracks at it. And I've been a host. I've done a couple of these, but really the brainchild behind all this is the guy on the screen now. It's going to be George. Let me get George's picture up here. Hold on a second. Let's get George to show up. Hey, George. Good morning. George from CY.
Hey guys. Good afternoon.
This is your brainchild, right? You started this idea last year, and we had a fun with it, but little fits and starts, right? It's hard to kind of get us all organized and get it going, but people love doing it. And then of course this year when you announced it, it was like boof. 70 people. We turned people away, didn't we?
Yeah, but I think we gave about a month's notice for people to sort of register, and we tried our best to fit everybody in. But basically the idea is to sort of get it started. Once you finish with the registrations, everybody gets started. It took us about a month to sort of sort through the 60 plus people who participated, to cut them down to 32. And now we're at that stage where we have the qualified 32 people who are going to take us to the next stage.
Yeah, it's always surprising to me, like when you do this, because last year we got surprised again. A couple people didn't make it that we thought were going to make it. That you figure, and because I went early. I told everybody this year, so I'm going to go early. I think I did my qualifier like the first week. I'm like, let me get it done, get out of the way, let all these other people come, right? And I did okay. I had an okay roll. And it's like, there's 60 people to go still. There's no way my roll's going to last, right? And you watch yourself just drop down that leaderboard every week, and you're like, oh my God, But it's surprising. Like I said, some people, you give them 3 shots at it, right? They have 3 shots to make a great roll, and they either do or they don't. And
you're in there.
I made it. I don't know how I made it. I'm joking about it because I've had 2 since the competition started. I've had 2 rolls over 50 in my garage, on camera. They're real rolls. I'm like, can I just put those in? Can I sneak them into the thing? Like, nope, nobody verified it. But it's exciting. Everybody in chat over on the Craps Nation Skype channel is like, every time somebody shoots, it's like, great job, so-and-so, and now I'm falling down the list.
I think there's the most important thing is that there's a renewed excitement about the community, and we see a lot of people coming in and joining the community, which is the basic idea behind everything. It's not about anything else but creating a community and a network of people that can actually meet up when there are other casinos, as opposed to sort of being lone wolves out there.
Yeah.
And I think we have done a great job of that, and I can't ask for anything more than that. So I'm very grateful for everybody. Very grateful for everybody who supports the community more than anything. So
it's amazing, George. So I joined up with Craps Nation 3 years ago during COVID. Actually, is and I think like a lot of people, I built a table during COVID and do your thing. And the community it's how do I say this right? Like I watched Jeremy's channel, and I watched Bone Thrower and a couple of these guys that had channels, and Larry the Crapsman, and just because I was bored during COVID, right? And I'm like, this is kind of cool. And when I started the channel and you join in, you realize how many people like the game, and that's fun. But this tournament, 67 people have home craps tables, which I think that in itself to me is interesting. Like a lot of people built tables, right? And they're so into this game, they built a table, they have cameras set up, and they're like, hey, let's just get together and do fantasy craps and come together. And like, to me, the joy of the tournament is not so much the shooting. I mean, it's fun for me. To me, it's an exercise in like, I don't know, just it's wonderment to watch how people like practice so much and try and do the thing, and whether it works or not is immaterial. It's like they got a table, they're doing the thing, they love this game, and I got to meet like 11 new people by hosting them. I never talked to Sarge before, so I'm rooting for Sarge. Sarge is my dark horse pick this year, and because I gotta be in my chopper guy's corner. But because Eddie won it last year, so a chopper guy's gonna win it this year. But I never met him. Like we've talked over chat, but I've never actually spoke to him. You know, our Vegas trips haven't matched up, and it's like I got to talk to Sarge. That was awesome. You know, and I got to meet a couple other new people. Jay-Z, I got to host him again, and it's like this is just fun, and seeing how much people love this. So kudos to you for putting it together.
I think if anything, what we are achieving here is to bring the community closer together within the competition. However, there's a lot more to come. And this year we're taking it a step further, actually 2 steps further. And one of the steps is going to be announced today on your channel. But if you want to go through the 32 first of all,
let's do it. Yeah. Let me share my screen here. I'm gonna put my browser up. You can take a look at. Let's see. We're gonna go with this. I think this is the screen I want to see. This should be both of us plus all of the things. So here is the first. We'll look at the 32 qualifiers. And that's the first thing I want to look at. So our qualifiers are, and this is in descending order here. So Michael O'Brien, who I hosted, that's the 85 Bears. I think he dropped a 43 roller.
He dropped a 40. That was a 40.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
It was unbelievable.
He floored us.
He was great.
Met, Michael. I have never met Michael, but
so I have met him. So now this is going to come as no surprise. I'm not very tall. We joke about this. I'm pretty short, but Mike is big guy. Mike's got to be 6'2", 6'3", you know, and he towers over me, and he's just like the dice look like peanuts in his hands. You know what I mean? He's just such a nice guy, just such a great guy, you know. And he goes out of his way to shake everybody's hand. He's just a really cool dude. So I really enjoyed. I knew him from before, but getting to host him was great. So yeah, Larry. We don't have on here what they're. I guess I can go to the other. I probably have it. Let me go pull it out here. If I go to shooters tournament, I have the actual. The results.
I have it here as well.
Oh, here it is. Right, this screen here has it. So here, Larry had a 38. Let's got to change tabs. Larry had a 38. I can zoom in a little bit for you.
He was actually. I think he was the first or second person to qualify. I think he was the second. No, he was the first person to appear for this competition. He threw a 38, and I thought, oh crap!
On the very first, that's right.
Chance. Yeah, it was just no, we're not gonna do that.
No, he did good, and I'll tell you, Patrick. So Duracell 8's brother, Patrick, and Duracell's in here somewhere too. I'm not sure where he's in the list, but he's got to be up here pretty near the top. They shot the lights out. Jeff hosted those two. And it was funny because I had, there's so much that goes behind the scenes people don't know about. Jeff and I was talking to him earlier in the day. I'm like, hey, I got to talk to you about something. He's okay, fine. He said, I'm going to host Duracell and his brother. Give me a call later on. I'm like, fine. Okay. So and the show starts up. An hour and a half later, they're still rolling. Both of them just crushed it. Had great rolls. It was fantastic. So he puts out a 35. Bill, I don't know very well. Alfredo hosted him.
Well,
Pops did good. Pops with a 28.
Yeah, I hosted JR, and he shot very well indeed. We had a lot of problems with the technology, getting everything sort of set up, but once we set it up, he just had a very good 28 run. So that's
totally.
fantastic.
Oh, totally. And that's one thing we should talk about too. It's the pain that we go through as hosts to get everything working. Sometimes it takes us 45 minutes to get somebody's camera to work. You know, it's a lot going on to get and I think that was the thing that you were really into, was like making sure that we do a good enough job of being able to see the rolls, see the dice land, make it legit. There's nobody, nobody's cheating.
It's very important to be above board, and it gives more credibility to the whole competition, I guess. So,
and I made a mistake. Dave made a mistake in dealing, and you all, the committee, kind of came in and sort of reviewed everything and fixed our mistakes, and we got it right. So that's the way it should be.
It's fine. Yeah,
yep.
I mean, we do
it happens, right?
Three judges. We're trying to be sort of completely without bias when we say something, and what should be just and equitable, I guess, for everybody. So no, we do a really good job. The committee is great. Yeah, so we got some of the Hawaiians. Abu did great.
Yeah, but Brian down there's got this huge crew. I mean, and they all shoot really good. They're all and they have nobody has more fun than that crew. I
I
can tell you
think
that.
I think Abu, if I was to say something, is one of those people who shoots very well, and I think it was a couple of weeks before the competition started. Duracell, Duracell 8 surprised me when he says to me, "Can you have a look at these couple of videos that he shared with me privately?" And I saw his shots, and I said to him, "I've got nothing to add. Work of art, beautiful throw." I mean, I would put serious money on Duracell. Serious money.
Right?
And
Right?
yeah, you've got Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff,
Jeff. Yep.
very
Yeah. Jeff shot
confident
well
in his
too.
shooting as well. Yeah, very confident in his shooting.
Mhm.
Hazel, I've seen her sort of come across many competitions on Brian's channel, so
Mhm.
I know she's a par shooter, very consistent the way she picks up dice and throws them.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
you've got
I've played with
Eduardo
her
with
live.
yeah,
Yeah, I got to play with Hazel live in Reno a couple years ago, and she's very soft toss. She's super cool. Alfredo, how did Alfredo do? Alfredo or not Alfredo? Big Az rather got the 24 with the TST,
he's
right? The top secret
okay.
toss.
I have no comments with that. As long as I would say this to anybody who wants to sort of become more proficient, as long as whatever you do is repeatable and you make sure you repeat it in exactly the same way or close enough to that,
Hmm.
then all it takes is a good set to complement that consistent type of throw, and you will do well. Now,
Yeah.
I think Big AZ knows that, and he's trying very hard to throw in exactly the same way. So the results are there. So well done
Yeah,
to him.
exactly. And I think that's a good point. Like the whole, and I talk with Gargoyle quite a bit, and the whole thing about DI, it's all about being consistent. It doesn't matter what, if it's par or chopper or whatever you're doing. If you just, and the thing about the consistency of it is like, it's consistency in your toss, but it's also like your rhythm, your timing, your betting, everything is consistent. And when you're like, I think it kind of brings you into the moment of the game. If you're in the
Yeah.
moment and you're kind of with it, it's a mindset thing, and I think and I think Big Az kind of that's what he's all about with that thing. Yeah, so Jeff got a 23. He beat Duracell by one, which I think might be some smack talk. I'm not sure if that's been highlighted yet, but Duracell beat or Jeff's up by one on him. And I'll tell you, Duracell sends me a lot of times. I'll get like he'll send me a screenshot of his rolls, and he's like, "How's that for consistency?" He's got this like the 5, 6, 8, 9. They're all flat. They're all like he's got whatever 100 of each, including the seven.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, like that's really cool. He's good. He's really good. Bird Dog, of course, last year's winner with a
The
20.
champ.
Yeah, he came in strong. He came in early with he was like the third or fourth shooter to go with a 20 roller, right?
I think he was number two. Yeah, he was number
Yeah,
two to appear on the. He was number two, and Eddie started with a seven, then a .7 out, and then boom, a 20. And
exactly.
I know, I know Eddie because I've played with him uh, in Vegas quite a few times. Um, he doesn't bite. He doesn't. How should I put this? He doesn't care if he seventh out a second ago.
Hmm.
He's so quick to get over it and say, okay, here we go. Let's do a 30. And he actually does it. He doesn't get emotional. I get very
Yeah.
emotional about a bad roll. but
Yeah, he
and
seems very even keel. He seems very even
yeah,
keel to me,
and I
which is
think
important.
part of the conversation of how people are going to do in this will
Yeah,
have to do
it, it,
with their balanced state of mind.
it's hard to
More than
predict, but I think you're right. I think Eddie's got the right mindset to do it. Like you said, that calm demeanor is the thing that makes it happen for you, right? If
yeah.
I think sometimes you can like be too overconfident or know too much or try too much. Like people changing sets every time. It's like, wait a minute, just trust who I am. And that feels like what Eddie does for sure. So, um,
Yep, for
yeah.
sure.
So who else is in here? We have more handicap. We have Dan D, Chris from Texas Dicer, and of course G Dub. Love me some G Dub. Got to meet him in Vegas a couple years ago, and that dude is so much fun, man. Alive. What a good
Another
guy.
person, another person that I consider, is very much underrated because when G-Dub is in his zone, he can actually throw forever. He doesn't
Hmm.
get tired. He just does his thing, very consistent in the way he approaches
And
the table.
just loves the game. Loves the game for
Yeah.
sure. He's a great dude. Yeah, and Kev Smith, he was on my show a few weeks back. I got to hang out with him for like an hour and a half on one of my live shows. What a great guy, great story, really great story. He's an
Okay.
inspiration. He's an inspiration. He's battling some things and he kind of broke through. He was a dealer in Vegas for a while. Just another one of these good
Oh,
guys. Yeah,
okay.
he
I
dealt
didn't know
poker.
that.
He dealt poker in
Okay.
Vegas. He dealt at the old Imperial Palace. So just a really good dude. Who else we have here? We have
Well, we
Mel,
have Uncle
Uncle
Bill.
Mel.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, right? With
Un-
the 18, respectable 18. Here we are.
yeah,
This is
he's
the bubble. This is the bubble group here. This is all these guys with 18s and 14s going, the whole way through.
I, I would say to you that Uncle Mel, he does an overhand as opposed to an
Yep.
underhanded throw, and he's one of those people very mature, but, sort of doesn't doesn't panic. He just throws, and if he gets into a zone, I'm
Rhythm.
sure he can do. Yeah, Ted,
He's
I've seen
oh
him
man,
shoot.
Ted.
He's very good. He throws hard ways more than
Mhm.
anything, and uh, I think he goes one of axis so fantastic.
Yep.
He can do
I
whatever
always,
just.
I always tell the story about
Anthony
Ted.
is he shooter, so I don't know.
Yeah, AC is Anthony's a good friend of mine. He was great. He's a chopper guy too. So I'm going to put all the
I,
chopper guys. I'm going to put all the chopper guys in green over here at some point. But no, Ted, Toothpick Ted is great. I play with him in Reno, and I always tell the story about him. And because you watch YouTube videos like I did, and I try and throw the dice, whatever. And you get and I thought I was kind of understanding what I was reading, and I saw him throw in person, like, oh my God, like that's how the dice are supposed to fly. Like I was like, what am I even doing here? Like I just might as well huck him and chuck him because, watching him, he's like, it was. If I could film that in slow motion, it was beautiful. One of the prettiest things I've ever seen. It was really really cool to watch him play. Um,
it's with everybody, and I say Anthony. I don't know him. Whoever
yeah,
I have seen shoot dice with everybody, I feel a lot more confident to sort of bet with
mhm,
them as opposed
for
to
sure.
somebody who is an unknown quantity. And
Yeah, and Ted's got that Eddie vibe. Ted is just cool, happy, enjoys the game,
very
does
very
not get
true,
rattled at
very
all.
true.
He's very, very just like it's a fun dude to play with. Like his personality, you see
Yep.
him on his channel. That's him in person. He's just fun. So
Yeah.
um,
So
yeah,
after that you've got Eddie Hernandez. I don't know Eddie Hernandez.
I don't know Eddie either. Yeah.
Sarge,
Oh yeah.
amazing guy. He's been a friend. We never met, but we're like best friends. I just
He's a
appreciate him.
really
Just
cool
by
guy.
one,
That's
just by
Steve.
one.
Steve.
I appreciate.
Steve made it through. He did a good job. He came out hot, 15 and 12.
Yeah,
And I hosted him, and he's the guy, of course. If you remember, he was our 2 years ago. He was our not sponsee's the wrong word, but the inspiration behind the Craps for the Cure.
that's right. Yeah,
He got over the throat cancer. He was back in chemo again over the summer or over the winter, and he's now recovering again. So he said he's feeling pretty good, which is good.
glad. I'm
Good to see
very
him
happy
back.
for
Yep,
him.
yep.
Very happy. Then we've got Sam I am. I mean, Sam, he's been known to hit 6.5 bets.
Mhm.
He's just amazing.
Yeah.
Darcy, I just started, helping him out or watching
Hmm.
him throw and sort of giving him a few suggestions. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. Alan
Yeah.
G. Alan G. Okay, we have to stop there. I watched Alan G throw, and I love the way that he has mastered the table that Brian owns. Because when
Hmm.
Brian throws on that table, I find it very bouncy. When Alan G throws, they
Nothing.
just die.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's for me. That's amazing.
That's my man right there. The G Money special right here, right?
Yeah, Grant.
Yeah. Grant is not somebody I would call even keeled. He's not. He's an excitable dude. Like he's not the guy that's like Ted who's gonna let it roll. Grant is like all in. Love that energy.
Yeah, wonderful character. I had the opportunity to meet up with him in Vegas. Wisco, I don't know. Sleepy is a very close
He's good.
of mine.
Wisco's a nice guy. I actually met him in Vegas last time for the Crash for the Cure, and got to play with him over at the Golden Valley. Good dude, really good guy. Yeah, really good guy.
I have to say something about Sleepy. He always complains when I can't shoot, I can't this, that, the other. Now Sleepy
look at this.
Thrown them consistently 13, 13, 13.
Yeah.
And in Vegas, but the last time I was there with him, I think he was the best shooter out of all of us in consistency, over 10 every time. So, you can never discount Sleepy coming out with something amazing. Alfredo, I've seen him shoot.
I've seen. I played with Alfredo a lot. He was here in Seattle with me for a weekend. We had our meetup. I played with him in Vegas a couple times. Very consistent. He can get a little bit angry with himself sometimes. He has very high expectations, but overall, a really well-practiced shooter. And beware of the guy that snuck into the last minute, right? You got all these guys down here tied at 13, and he makes it in, right? He makes it in on the average. So beware of the guy that was on the bubble, I'd say.
Yeah, that's very true. Last year, I think, what was it? Eddie started with a 10 and ended up, just going through qualifying 32, 16, 8, 4, and getting the championship. So
and you never know what's going to happen. I think last year, and I was talking to Chris from Sideshow Gamble, we got to be reminded that Chiro last year started out hot. Remember in the qualifiers, he threw like a 25 or a 30. And then in the first 32 round, he was in the 20s or 30s. He was in first place all the way through. And then, of course, he had the PSO at the end there to knock him out. But nobody saw him coming. It was like, whoa, Chiro's killing it here. You never know who's going to jump out of the list here. And here again, here is the round of 32. Who is your dark horse? Not who you're rooting for, but who should we be watching and being like, okay.
Very, very interesting. I would say to you, I have a list of the people that I believe will do very well. I would say I expect Sleepy to do very well. I expect Duracell to do very well. And I expect people like Jeff and Larry to do very well. Because I've seen them shoot. And I understand how consistent they can be. So this would be my top 3 picks.
There you go.
Yeah. What about yourself? What do you think?
I'm definitely feeling the Duracell vibe. I think I've seen his results. I've seen him throw. I'm feeling that vibe for sure. I'm feeling for sure. I think my dark horse this year is going to be Sarge. Last year I was all on the Eddie train, and I rode Eddie to victory. I picked Eddie from the first week. Like and I'm like, I think he's going to do it, and he came back and did it. But yeah, I'm going to go with Sarge for sure, and I think, I don't know, I'm going to go with Ted. I think Ted, to me, I think Ted, Duracell, and Sarge are my 3 that I'm really going to be watching closely. I think I've got big expectations for Ted for sure. No pressure, Ted. Duracell, I have a feeling. He's going to a breakout tournament. I just feel like we're going to see him come through. So those are my 3. And of course, in my heart, I'm going Sarge. I got Anthony and I got Eddie in my back pocket. All the chopper guys, all 4 of us have to represent. So that's kind of what I'm secretly hoping for that. But let's jump over to the stats here. I want to look at all right. So and I got almost everything typed in. There was a couple of shooters that we didn't capture the roles for, like 3 or 4 of them, but. Okay. We did capture 143 shooters worth, and everybody, you can look through here, and everybody's roles are in here. So you want to look at what everybody did, you can browse through it. But on the aggregate, we have about 1,400 roles collected. So the SRR is approaching 7, which is really good. For that many rolls, keeping the SRR up is really impressive to me. The SOR should be 8.5. That's your 8.5 average length of time holding the dice. And this BSR should be about 4, little like 4.1 or something is I think the expectation. So we're a little bit above everything. My roll quality calculation is different than yours. I award, it's essentially what I do is I don't award ATS scores in here, but I do award if you hit a 6 and then a 6 and then like every subsequent 6 you hit gets an extra little spiff to it, right? So the more repeaters you throw, the higher your score goes. But regardless, I average about a 35 to 40. If I look at like if you look at my, you can laugh at me, but my terrible rolling, my roll quality is about a 37 after 7,000 rolls. We are at, as a group, at 58. Now again, it's not as many rolls, but that's an impressive number to me. That's showing me lots of repeaters, you know. And I'm looking at like the number of points made. Look at the 5. We're making more points than we should on almost everything but the 4. So guys are hitting their points, which is great. There's a lot of come out 7s, which I think lowers some numbers. But yeah, look at like the 5s are way above. Like they're doing really good. And I look at like things like this. Only 23 times do we have no box hits out of all those shooters. Only 23 times was there 0 box hits. That's to me like, I don't care about these numbers so much. I care about this number, which this is the one that I make money on or not, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, you're looking at it from a perspective of making money. I look at it from a very purist point of view.
You do. I know you do. I know you do. So what jumps out when you look at these kind of things? What jumps out to you? Like, what do you care about when you look at stats like this?
Oh my God, I would say to you, I look at the SOR, and I mean, the first 10, the top 10, their SOR is at 15.33. Mm-hmm. Now, if you say that 8.5 is the benchmark, 15.33 means they're almost 100% better than a random person in making money.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. Then, if you look at all of them, the 32 people that qualified, 12.29 SOR. That's almost 50% better than a random person. Does that prove anything in 1,381 rolls, as you say? Maybe not. Maybe the sample is too small. But
it's kind of small, but it's trending. Like you're getting to the numbers where you're going to start seeing things flatten out to where they're going to be with the group. I have a question for you with these stats.
My question to you would be, if you were faced with these statistics, would you put money on these people? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Because you see that they're trending positively, light side. So I would definitely invest in them.
Let me ask you a question, because I have the power to do this, right? This is the overall, everybody's qualified, right? So we can take this, I can take this set of numbers and I can drill it down and say, let's just make a new stat sheet that's just the top 32 and their qualifiers. Should I make a new blank one of these for the round of 32 or load everybody's rolls and just keep this one set of stats going for the whole time? I can do it either way, you know, and it's...
The idea is we should have cumulatives, but also we should have, for each stage to see.
Okay. So I will do that. I will pull the stages then. Okay.
The two things tell a different story. I would say that because we're coming to the 32 now, 32 are going to shoot twice. So there is even more pressure on them to do well. And 16 are going to shoot twice. So that kind of creates a lot more pressure as the competition goes forward. And it's important to see the mental aspect of things. How are these people going to sort of react to shooting less times and et cetera, et cetera?
It's pressure. It's funny because let me go back to this other screen here. I actually, I always joke about like, I'm not a very good shooter. I like to pretend that I can shoot, but I'm not. but even that, like I have like zero expectations. I get like sweaty when I, when I do my competition. I'm like, I'm nervous. I don't want to look like a dumbass in front of everybody, but
Very
it's
true.
it's good. I like adding the pressure. So we only got a few minutes left here, and I want to give you some room here to talk about what's coming next, because obviously the popularity of the thing is great. People love watching it. They're engaged in doing this. I can foresee a third year, right? A shooter of the year 2025. I'm sure you're going to want to do that. What else do you have in the works?
Well, this year, because of the popularity, this taking off a little bit better, I wanted to sort of have a second stage and a final stage to this competition. The second stage is, if we're going to announce it officially right now, is going to be the best strategist of 2024. And what
Mm.
we're going to do is actually, with the help of all the hosts that are helping me right now, we are going to gather 32 strategists who are going to sort of show us with predetermined roles how how well they can do. And the 32 will be cut to 16. Those with the best results will be down to 16, and then 16, 8. And from 8, we will stop at 4. There's not going to be a winner. It's just going to be the 4 best strategies. And
Mm.
the last part, which is, I think, everything coming together, is
Mm.
the alignment. We're going to choose the best 4 shooters from the competition, hopefully to meet up with the best 4 strategists from the competition,
Mm.
and we are going to provide them through Craps Nation, hopefully with a bankroll big enough for them to attend Craps for the Cure and raise some money for a noble cause like the one that you have. So
That's unbelievable. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps over here. Um, wow. So they come, we put them up live. They get to shoot and play together with a bankroll that we provide them, and all that money goes to the charity. That's
correct.
astounding. I mean, like, oh my God, George, like that's that's what this is all about. Like that's literally what this community is, right? And like people, what's interesting is to me, you find haters on all sides of all things, right? Some people hate
It's
strategies and strategists. Some people hate dice control. Some people hate me, which is fine. In the end of the day, though, like the strength and the bond that we've all built over this game, for you to say something like that, where it comes together and it's like we can all get behind that.
I think,
Um,
yeah, I think it's
golly.
important for us to
Hmm.
align our efforts into one thing. Hopefully, we get a positive result.
Man, that's
And
fantastic. Yeah.
I don't think anybody is going to sort of say anything bad because it's a noble cause.
Oh, it's awesome.
So
Man, that's really cool. So, wow. So the top 32 strategists are going to get out there, and we got to figure rules out. It sounds like you have some ideas, but that is,
yes, I do have
yeah,
some ideas. I cannot share them because it might compromise, the integrity
sure.
of that competition. However, I ask for the help of you people because you know more strategies than I do.
Georgia's strategy is step on the gas pedal, right? And that pretty much your strategy, right?
It's a very simple 2 hits and down. That's it. 2 hits and down.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, if you can shoot well enough to get 2 hits every time, you'll never lose, right? That's what it's all
Yeah.
about at some point. So, man, I'm humbled, George, that you're gonna. That's the target range for us, is to do that. And again, I think it's awesome. Like again, this is another thing. Like shooting, the strategies, the strategist, all coming together. It's just a way to kind of bring the community right here, which is what we always wanted.
I
That's
think
awesome.
so.
Here's I have to go to work, but here's a question for you from Old Man Earl. This is the most important question of the
Okay.
day. You ready? Is George gonna be at Craps for the Cure? That's the burning question. Can we get you out there in October?
October. Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? I think
Awesome.
because I put my sort of I put myself, in this. Yeah, I should attend really. So
That's
I'll try
awesome.
my
I
very
will.
best to make it.
Oh man, that's great. I'll connect with you separately. I'll make sure you have dates and all that kind of stuff, and I'll do what I can. I'm a host now, so I have a little bit of pull with some casinos. Maybe I can get you a place to stay. So we'll work through it. George, I got to go to work. It's 10 of 9 my time. So man, thank you for being here. Thanks for going through the list with me. That was pretty fun. And your predictions, and we'll keep throwing it. When are we starting the next round? Is it starting ASAP, or do you have a schedule in mind, or what are you thinking?
Well, I would very much like to sort of come down to the 16 within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So
Okay.
I'm going to talk to the group and see how quickly the hosts can accommodate everybody,
Sure.
and
Sure. Well,
we
I'm
can
lucky.
take it
I've
from
got
there.
most of my nights are free. I work 9 to noon. So everybody knows if you're in there, I work 9 to noon Pacific time. And then at noon or 1 o'clock, I don't have to be in the classroom anymore. So I can kind of be free in the afternoons and evenings. So as a host, I've got some daytime availability too. So I can work with people's schedules. And I know the other hosts
Excellent.
are all accommodating as well. Jeff is retired. He can do daytime stuff too. So let us know. Let us know.
Fantastic. Okay.
And yeah, and we'll try and get them pre-scheduled so you can plan your day around it. Because now there's only 32 people. It's not going to be like the wild and crazy. We should be a little more on time, I think, now. So
Yeah, I think there is 8 hosts. So if we take 4 people,
yeah,
each 4 contestants, we should be finished very quickly. So
awesome. All right,
thank you
George,
so
thanks for
much,
your
John.
time. You have a great
Thank
rest of
you.
your
Have a
day.
great
Everybody
day.
else,
You too.
yeah, of course, of course. Everybody else, y'all have a good one. I'm going to go to the last screen here and just give you my final thoughts, which is this. Um, George is awesome. We say this a lot, right? It's what do you stand for? You know what I mean? And George is a good man. You know what I mean? And I love the fact that he's all about the community, bringing people together. And like I said before, I love dealing these matches because you get to meet people and hang out with folks that you see in chat and stuff like that. Like Duracell, getting to watch him actually throw the dice was a highlight of the tournament so far. Was watching people from chat play, getting to meet Anthony from AZ Crap Shooters in person and talk to him for real was awesome. So that's why I think it's great. George putting up this idea of having the top 4 shooters and the top 4 strategists come to Vegas with me at Craps for the Cure and do a gifted bankroll designed to have them come together and win some money, hopefully to donate to the charity. Freaking crazy, man. Yeah, I don't really have words for that, but that's it. Thanks, George, for putting this together. Thanks everybody for watching and hanging out with us, and thanks for all the support. I mean, like I said, I know there are people out there that root against the dice influencers, and there's people out there that are like, I want to be a dice influencer, and this has inspired me. Either whatever your takeaway is, I don't care. Have fun with it. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the people. It's all about the people. All about the people. Anyway, love y'all. Have a great day. Adios.